Welcome to the Scoreboard, everybody. I'm your host, Conrad Jacobells, and we have a jam-packed show for you today. We are going to be talking about Wasatch for Salem Hills boys soccer. We're going to be talking about Park City girls lacrosse versus Payson, and then we're also going to be talking about Provo traveling up to Park City High School to take on the boys in baseball. But first, before we get into those games, I just want to say congratulations to girls golf at Park City. They took home Region 8 championships. They did not capture state because state is this upcoming Monday and Tuesday. They took Region 8 by a score of 381.7. The closest team was Springville at 389.1, and that was the school George Murphy, the coach, was very scared of, and they took it. Again, state will be coming up on this Monday and Tuesday, and we will bring you all necessary info and see how the girls do at state this upcoming Monday and Tuesday. So let's jump into our show. We're going to start off with Wasatch soccer. Salem Hills traveled up to Wasatch to take on the Wasps, and this was a very good game for Wasatch boys soccer, winning the game 3-0. This was a revenge game for Wasatch. They lost to Salem Hills earlier in the season 5-3 in shootout. That was the first loss of the season. With the win, the Wasatch Wasps moved to 13-2. Salem Hills is now 9-6, and this is a co-regional or sole regional win for Wasatch. We're still waiting on Maple Mountain to see what they do, to see if they capture the region with Wasatch, but Wasatch will be the winners of the region, either sharing the title or sole title winners. So this was a huge game. They came off, and just like I've said with Wasatch soccer in the past, tempo and aggression has been the name of the game for Wasatch soccer, and they scored early on off a penalty kick, and then they went up 2-0 at halftime, and basically the game was over then. Wasatch is playing very good defense, and they are basically just setting the tone. They are playing their game, which is a team game. They are spreading the ball around. They aren't being ball hogs. They're getting the entire team going. Edgar Garcia, Tanner Wagstaff, and Taylor Dumar all scored for Wasatch. As I said, this was a revenge game for Wasatch, as this was their loss to Salem Hills back on April 1st. So getting this 3-0 victory was a huge revenge game for the boys. This is Wasatch's 8th shutout on the season. They are playing amazing soccer right now. Again, 8 shutouts for one season in soccer is a really good achievement to have, showing how good of a defense you have and how good of a goalie you have. Wasatch is absolutely terrifying right now, and they finished out the season with the win against Provo last night, 1-0. So a close game to end it. It was senior night. Again, they are 13-2 on the season. They may be number 1 in terms of RPI for playoffs. So they will be hosting the number 1 seed. So Wasatch boys soccer are absolutely dominant right now, and they are just cruising into playoffs. Let's move over to another strong team, Park City girls lacrosse, where they played against Payson, and they picked up a victory of 23-0. The girls at Park City are scary right now. Mickey Clayton has a strong, well-oiled machine of a team that everybody is scoring. 16 girls scored in this game. Amelia Livingston had 3 goals. Lily Hunt, Kate Dial, Sophie Neff, and Kendall Keblish all had 2 goals. And again, this is a scary team when everybody's scoring. Even Kimchi, the goalie, had a goal to end out the game. They put their goalie in on offense at the very end to get scores in. This is a team that is well-rounded and is aggressive. They are aggressive on the ground, going after ground balls, not trying to lose it, trying to set up second, third, and fourth opportunities if they miss a score, which even Mickey Clayton isn't too happy with, some of the sloppy passes and how many goals were missed. But Park City is just strong right now. They had 16 goals in the first half, and they slowed down a little bit to have 7 in the second half. This is the 4th shutout victory for the girls, and they scored 235 points on the season and have only given up 24. That's a plus 211 score differential for the Miners. They are the number 1 team in Utah, and it's showing. Nobody is slowing them down. In their last 3 games, the victories have been 27-0, 23-2, and 23-0. That 23-2 victory was over against number 2 Region 8 team Wasatch, and Park City blew them out of the water. This is a scary team. This is a team with full momentum, and they are playing Park City girls lacrosse when the moment is most needed. Playoffs are coming up on the 18th of May. So this team is rolling. However, they do have a pretty difficult game to end the season against Olympus. Earlier in the season, Olympus actually dethroned Park City as the #1 team in the state of Utah due to a strength of schedule. But Olympus lost and Park City reclaimed that. To give you an idea of how strong this team is, they have beat Skyridge, who is 12-1, 11-5. Harriman, who is 11-2, 17-4, and Waterford, who is 10-2, 20-8. Olympus, as I just said, who dethroned them from #1, but now is no longer #1, lost to Skyridge 12-6. Park City beat Skyridge 12-1. This Miners team is strong. They are scary, and this is a scary team, not in terms of their scores, but just because of how they are scoring and how all the girls are scoring. That's a look at the Region 8 girls lacrosse standings. We can see Park City at 13-0. They are going to be hosting 4 playoffs. So Wasatch is second there. Again, this whole playoff schedule is in terms of all of 5A and not just Region 8. So Park City will be hosting home games for playoffs, an easier road to that state finals, as Wasatch may have to travel depending on RPI. That's going to do it for this segment of the Scoreboard, everybody. When we come back, we're going to be checking at Provo versus Park City baseball and also get an interview with Wasatch boys soccer head coach Jared Hendry. Welcome back to the Scoreboard, everybody. I'm Connor Diacabellis. Why don't we talk a little baseball, and who says there can't be bad blood in baseball? The Provo Bulldogs traveled up to Park City High School to take on the Park City Miners, and this was a chippy game. There was some bad blood in this game that we'll get to in a little bit. Good news, Park City was able to claim the victory in this game 5-2. Provo moves to 7-16 on the season. Park City moves to 8-15 on the season. Very important records in terms of standings, which we'll get to probably in the next segment. Provo and Park City are right next to each other in terms of the region play. But let's talk about this game. This game, Provo was up 2-1 going into the fourth. Park City tied it up 2-2 in bottom of the fourth. And this is where things got weird. There was a double play call where the Provo runner was going into second base and interfered with the Park City shortstop on the throw from second to first. That is an out. The runner cannot interfere with the defender. Coach Fiesler caught that, called them out. There is a little discrepancy between whether that was the right call or not. There's about a 20 to 25 minute delay. Provo got a little heated. There was some chirping back and forth. Dugouts got cleared. Some of the parents were barking at each other, which added to the height of this game. Again, these teams are looking at each other in standings and in terms of RPI, so that chippiness is to be, it wasn't not expected. It was something that's like, yeah, these two teams don't like each other, but to have that go on in the game too, added to it. There was about a 35-minute delay. When they resumed, it was a tight game, 0-0 in all the innings until bottom of the seventh, where Dylan Fishbow hit a walk-off 3-run home run in the bottom of the seventh to give the 5-2 win to the Miners, giving them a little bit of a higher RPI against Provo and hopefully helping them out in a little bit in terms of the playoffs that are coming up on May 18th. The winning pitcher was Nick Stokes. He had 7-inning pitch, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. So a strong performance by Nick Stokes for Park City. We're going to move back to soccer, where we have a special interview. Brent Martindale caught up with Coach Jared Hendry to talk about the win against Salem Hills and also talk about capturing Region 8.
Hey everybody, Brent Martindale with the Scoreboard, Park City Television. I am here with Jared Hendry, the head coach of the boys soccer team at Wasatch High School. Congratulations, a big win today. And Coach, tell us a little about this game. What won it for you?
Well, I think our boys were really pumped up for this game. Coming off the 2-0 loss to Maple Mountain on last Thursday, they wanted to play really well. On Friday, the coaches actually stepped away and let the boys have their own practice. The boys ran it, took ownership of it, and on Monday they came ready to go. They were ready to practice. They practiced hard. They were focused. They came into today's game knowing that we lost to Salem Hills in a PK shootout, and knowing that we could play with them, or we could beat them. We just needed to play our game, and so the boys came in, played their game, and the final score is 3-0 and played a phenomenal game. Our boys played nice and calm and collect, and like they always do, and it was a great game.
From the start, looked like in control. Was there anything in those first little bit of the moments of the game that you wondered if you needed any adjustments, or was it right from the start, everything looked good?
No, right from the start. The boys took control of the game, and we just knew everything was good. And so as they just kept playing, they started playing their game and possessing the ball, and then started possessing with a purpose and getting it up. And we got our chances all of a sudden, and I think they were just back on their heels for that first half. And second half, there was a little bit of a lull, and then we started picking it back up again and kept control of it. And there was nothing that we ever, as a coaching staff, got nervous about in this game. Just kept control, and the boys did an excellent job.
How hard is it going into half with a 2-0 lead? How hard is that to keep them motivated for that second half?
With these boys, we've been talking a lot about being a second half team. We've scored a lot of our goals in that first half, in fact, the first 20 minutes. And so we've talked about, you got to keep that pressure up. They possess a little bit more in the second half because, we had that 2-0 lead, but they still made those runs up, and we still had our chances in the second half, and our goal in the second half was a phenomenal goal. And Josh found Tanner Wagstaff's head and put it right in the goal. So they possessed a little more when we had the lead in the second half, but we didn't change anything. I mean, we met at halftime and said, you guys are doing phenomenal. Watch the outside, and let's make sure that we're not, holding on to the ball and trying to beat anyone. Just keep playing our game.
So let's talk about what's up next. Now, we have one regular season match left. This one, as you were telling me earlier, this guarantees a region championship. And at least a share, but of course, as you mentioned with point score, tell us a little about that, what that feels like at this point, and is it going to be okay to just roll on with motivation at this point?
Yeah, I think the boys are really motivated for state right now. So we're really right now we're the number 1 seed on the RPI, and so the boys know that, and they came out and played a phenomenal game. And to roll forward against Provo, they know Provo's a good team. They're athletic, but it's senior night, and those boys are going to come out and they're going to play phenomenal. They'll play out of their heads. We'll start all of our seniors. We have 12 seniors, so one of them actually won't start, but we'll get them in real quick and get our seniors playing the game. And yeah, it's rolling forward that first round. If we can stay in the top 3, then we'll get a bye that first round, and then we'll be able to play that second round and maybe go look at some of the teams we're going to play in that first round and go watch them and prepare for them. But these boys, this is their goal. They want a state championship. They've been preparing they've been telling us since they were 8 years old they're going to win a state championship. So.
Thank you so much to Brent and Coach Hendry for that interview. Let's take a look at the soccer standings right now. The soccer season is done with. The regular season done with. These are the final standings. Wasatch moving to 14-2 with a win over Provo. We can see Park City at the bottom middle at 10-7 overall. It was back in March. Park City was number 2, where Maple Mountain's sitting right now, and they dropped. They dropped quite a bit in terms of standing, both in region play and in overall. Wasatch may be the number 1 team in RPI for playoffs, so they'll probably have home games throughout the entire season until the championship if they make it that far. Park City is going to have to be traveling in terms of playoffs, but that's a Park City team that I believe can do it. Wasatch, I think they're the favorite to make it to state, and I think they're going to do it. This is a strong team on both defense, offense, and goalkeeping, which is scary when a team is just absolutely aggressive and playing great defense in terms of all aspects of soccer. We're going to take a break right now, but when we come back, we're going to hear from Coach Fiesler and Coach Clayton. Welcome back to the Scoreboard, everybody. I'm your host, Conrad Jacobellis. Earlier in the show, we showed you some highlights from the Provo at Park City baseball game, a close game where Park City took the victory 5-2. I caught up with Coach Fiesler after the game to talk about the victory and the upcoming series against Spanish Fork. So let's check out what Coach Fiesler has to say.
It's a huge win, especially since we've struggled. I would say the message has been stay in the fight, and that's a game where you got to fight to win it. I'm really proud of our kids. They fought until the last pitch. It's in it no matter what. And when we get to the playoffs, we'll be playing teams from outside of our region, which is really strong. So it's stay in the fight until the last pitch of the season. And Friday's about our seniors. We're doing senior day on Friday, and it's all about celebrating that class. It's 7 kids that I've had for 4 years. But 2 wins going into the playoffs, 2 competitive games at least, puts us in a good place when they do the seeding and they do the playoff bracket. It's an intense baseball game. Intense baseball games are fun. Intense baseball games can be a little scary, so I think it's huge for our kids to end up on the right side of that one. We have our best practice of the year tomorrow, and then we compete on every single pitch on Friday and Monday. Have a great week of practice, carry that into the playoff game on Friday. Yeah, and the interesting thing, even with struggle, I feel like we've gotten better. There's been a couple messy games in there, but our senior class is leading, and they're getting better every single day. The approach at the plate, like you said, is getting better. That's a huge hit for Dylan at the end of the game. He's been a good player for us all year. So, yeah, I'm going to stick by that senior class, man. Some young guys have performed. We got a freshman in the lineup today. We had a couple of sophomores in the lineup today. But really, we're going to go with that senior class. Like I told you and Ryan a couple of weeks ago, we're going to go as they go. So,
we're going to take a look at the standings for 5A Region 8 right now. Park City Baseball is a little bit on the bottom end. They've had a tough 8-15 year, but Coach Fleeser has said this is a team he's excited to play for. He said, a lot of 8-15 teams aren't fun. This is a fun team. Park City does have a 2-game series against 14-9 Spanish Fork, as you can see right up there. It's going to be interesting to see if they can win. Again, they are starting this Friday, and then they will be playing Monday away at Spanish Fork. Park City is, they're last in the region. They did move up a little bit against Payson right there. Payson did get a loss as of yesterday. They're 20th in the division. So if they win 1 or 2 games against Spanish Fork and both Provo and Payson lose both their last 2 games, Park City is going to be able to finish a little bit higher than the bottom tier, but they're going to have a tough schedule when it comes in terms of playoffs. Their RPI is just going to be low, so they're going to be facing these high teams like Wasatch, Maple Mountain, Salem Hill. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Miners can pull it out. They have pulled out tough games before, so we'll see if they can, hopefully make a run in playoffs. Speaking of a team that's going to make a run in playoffs, Park City Girls Lacrosse is probably going to be the state champions, or they're going to be playing in that game. I caught up with Coach Mickey Clayton after the Payson game to see what she thinks about her team heading into playoffs.
Yeah, it was a great win for us. I think, as I've said before, every win is a good win. We're excited to just, keep the win streak alive. They really played as a team today. We had a lot of goal scorers, so it was awesome. Well, I think there's the phrase that defense wins championships, and that's what we really harp on with our team. So our defense has been playing awesome this season. Our goalies have been playing awesome, so just solid on defense. And then on top of that, we have multiple girls who can score. So I think that's one thing that I love as a team. We don't have any one dominant player, that we have multiple girls that can take it to cage and score, have, multi-goal games. So, yeah, both sides are just playing great. So happy with that. Absolutely. The team is really gelling together, obviously, this late in the season. Again, playing really well on defense, solid unit. On the draws, we're doing really well. And then the girls are just really starting to gel together on attack, really looking for each other. A lot more assists now that it's later in the season. So, yeah, absolutely. They're playing Park City Lacrosse. This is the way we want them to play and to continue to play as we go into states. I think a big part of it is always we want to play our game, play Park City Lacrosse, no matter who we're playing against, no matter what the score is. So when we have timeouts or halftime, I'm being really nitpicky with them and harping on the little details to make ourselves, perfect. Again, hopefully going to states and working towards the state tournament. So it's playing more as a team. It's working on the little details and just trying to, have everybody get a lot of playing time on these games and just have everybody get better. All season, I tell the girls to take it one game at a time. We never want to underestimate an opponent ever. You never know who's going to show up one day and what they have and what they're capable of. So it's taking it one game at a time. But obviously, Olympus is a better team that we're really looking forward to that game, and we really want to play well and show up for that game. Just play hard, play to win, really focus on, again, just playing Park City lacrosse and just every day prepping for states. So
I'm going to kind of echo with what Coach Clayton said. She said this is a team that is scoring on everybody's scoring, everybody's a scorer. They don't have one girl who is the top scorer, who's the dominant, who if they get shut down, the rest of the team's going to step up. This is an entire team that everybody's stepping up. This is a team, as I said, 16 girls scored in that 23-0 win against Payson. This is a team that is playing Park City girls lacrosse. Mickey Clayton has a terrifying team on the field right now. They are aggressive, and they are playing such an aggressive ball beyond what I'm seeing the rest of the teams play. So this Park City team, again, state is what they're circling. Let's take a look at the standings right now. Number 1 and number 2, Park City and Wasatch. Park City did defeat Wasatch 23-2 earlier in the season. So again, that just goes to show you how top dog Park City girls lacrosse is right now. But Wasatch had a great season at 10-2. In terms of RPI, those are going to be 2 of the higher teams. Park City is obviously going to be number 1. Again, the playoffs is not just Region A, it's an entirety of 5A. So Wasatch may be actually closer to that 10 range in terms of RPI. The playoffs for lacrosse does start on May 18th. Everybody starts May 14th, but Park City will be having tons of home games. Wasatch may host a home game or 2 before they have to go on the road, depending on how RPI plays out as the playoffs progress. But this is looking like maybe we'll see Wasatch versus Park City, maybe in the championship game, but most likely trying to play into that championship game. We'll see. I mean, again, Park City girls lacrosse, just scary, just scary. They're such a good team right now. And congratulations to the girls and Coach Mickey Clayton. They do have one tough game against Olympus Tuesday night at Dozier Field if you want to go see some good girls lacrosse. That's going to do it for me, Connor Jacobellis, on this episode of The Scoreboard. I hope you enjoyed. You can check out reruns every Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m. and 12 p.m., noon exactly. Make sure you check out Sunday for brand new web exclusive content. That's going to do it for me. Until next time, everybody, kisses, hugs, belly rubs.